Yo guys, today we're talking about the pros and cons of NoFap. Now this is going to be a very, very interesting video, so let's jump straight into it. Now NoFap has become a very popular practice in recent years for a number of good positive reasons, but I do think there are some cons that a lot of people are not speaking about, and we're going to cover both right now. So the pros of NoFap. Number one, you have more motivation. You are more motivated to complete tasks, accomplish your goals, and be more productive. Number two, you have better social skills. You can socially interact with people more easily, and you have more energy for such interactions. When you excessively fat, you become avoidant of interactions, and your social skills are not as sharp. You might be more antsy and more agitated, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Number three, you have stronger eye contact. This is very similar to our previous point. When you socially interact with someone, you'll notice that your eye contact is easier and more relaxed, and you don't have problems holding eye contact with someone for long periods of time. Next, you have more of an urge to chase the opposite sex. So when you fap excessively, that urge gets diminished and you have no motivation to go and chase the opposite sex, or same sex, depending on your preference. When you abstain from fapping, that urge increases and it drives you to seek out dates, seek out partners, and seek out sexual encounters. Next, you're not depleted of energy. Every time you fap, your energy gets very, very low and you feel tired and sluggish. This, of course, can affect all other areas of your life. Next, your dopamine reward centers are not damaged from excessively fapping every single day. You see, when you fap, your dopamine spikes significantly and then it drops instantly afterwards to a much lower level than your dopamine baseline. So it takes a long period of time to get that energy back and recover. Finally, you're not sedated. Most people use fapping as a way to cope throughout the day. They choke the chicken excessively and it leaves them in a zombie-like state where they can't function correctly in everyday life. So as you can see, there's a lot of benefits to not shaking hands with the president, but there also are some cons. Beginning with number one, many people have reported being agitated and frustrated from not fapping for long periods of time. They find themselves becoming incredibly needy and frustrated for the opposite sex if they haven't had a proper release in ages. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone, and it also depends on your sex drive and your testosterone levels, etc. But I have seen it reported on different sites, so it's worth mentioning. Next, wet dreams. When you don't toss the salad or choke that chicken, you might find one day you wake up and you splattered yourself all over your bed. Now this is nasty. It's natural, but it's nasty, right? And it's a funny con, but it's something none of us want to really deal with. I thought I'd mention it though for some nice old comic relief. Next, withholding during a sexual encounter. Now, some of you refrain from busting a nut even when you're with someone, which, I don't know, man, I think that's a bit too much. I think when you're with someone in a intimate capacity, you should enjoy yourself fully, and it is the most natural thing to bust during that encounter. So I don't know why you'd withhold it. Again, this is not everyone, but I have seen it mentioned a few times, so it's worth bringing up. Next, and this is a very tricky one, you're not getting any form of release, which is causing you to be unsettled. I've seen some people report that sometimes their horniness level are all over the place and they can't focus on anything. They can't focus on work, they can't focus on being productive, and they can't focus on accomplishing their goals. Not until they choke the chicken and knock one out. Now admittedly, this might not be the best approach of fapping and knocking one out to refocus and dampen that agitation, but it does work for some, and I've seen it work for some very, very high level people. Finally, and this is probably the most important con, self-attack. I've seen a lot of people beat themselves up or judge themselves in a negative manner if they break their no-fap streak. This is not healthy at all. I've seen people break a streak of 10 days, 20 days, 50 days, 100 days. And when they break that streak, they really beat themselves up and do a number on themselves in a very toxic and negative way, which isn't good for their self-esteem or confidence. Again, I've said this in my other videos, but you're only human, you're not a robot. Sometimes you need a release. But yeah, those are the pros and cons. So the obvious question is, what is the solution? There's clear benefits to NoFap, but there's also negatives. Now on the plus side, you want the benefits of NoFap, you want more energy, you want to be more productive, you want to have better social skills, and you want to really look after your dopamine system in a healthy way. On the negative side, you don't want to become one of these people who walk around agitated and frustrated all day from all that built up tension and having the excessive urge to release because you haven't done so in a while. That's not cool either. Right now, we have two camps on either end of the spectrum. On one side, we have the excessive fappers, which is ruining a lot of young men and older men's lives completely. They fap all day to adult content, and their energy is permanently low and they feel lethargic and zombie-like. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the super non-fappers, where these people don't release at all, but experience some of the cons that we mentioned in our lists. My recommendation is a more balanced approach, where you can reap the maximum amount of benefits from no-fapping, but also minimize any negatives. And for that, I recommend you fap once a week. Now, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you get that frustration, allow yourself one solid fap a week. No more than one though, because you don't want to make this an excessive habit. When you embark on this weekly fap session, make sure it's a nice, long, enjoyable session. You could also use it as an opportunity to practice your stamina and lasting power if you suffer from premature ejaculation. Also, make sure you don't look at any adult content when you're engaging in this weekly fap, as that type of content has a large range of negative effects, which we've covered in other videos on our channel. But give this a try and let me know what you think. I think balance is important and always the best approach, but hey, do whatever works for you. This is just my recommendation. If you have any other solutions, mention them in the comments so that everyone can benefit. I'll speak to you guys in the next one. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you soon. Peace.